It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
I've never been in jail. I won't make it. They always prey on the weak and the innocent. The others will taunt me for trying to excel at my work in the laundry. I'll fall in with a bad crowd whose leader looks like Ethel Merman, and I'll be forced to engineer a daring prison break using my laundry cart. From that time on, I won't know a moment's peace. I'll scar my fingerprints with battery acid, and I'll run from town to town taking jobs at people who have got bad grades in school. And then one day, they'll find me, holed up in a little shack in the Louisiana bayou, and a sheriff named Bull will call my name out over a megaphone, and when I make a run for it, he'll riddle my body with bullets. Oh, please don't let them take me downtown. I want to live. I want to live.
You're not very good in a crisis, are you, Rose? Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Saturday Matinee Theater Company presenting one of Rose Nyland's most cherished speeches from Golden Girls. We will be talking all things Betty White and all things movies and TV and everything that we are up to these days. Welcome to the next real Saturday Matinee.
Pleasure to be here.
I'm here.
Oops.
I am here with the Dorothy to my Rose, Tommy Metz.
That's me. Hello.
Which makes you, Steve Sarmento, Blanche.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, you're going to boot me off the show. I've never watched The Golden Girls.
Okay, that was it for Steve. He's
exactly.
Done. I haven't either. She gave me that line.
Oh, my God.
We're your oceans.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
I was going to start with our memories of Betty White. I mean, she is an international icon and legend and deserves at least a moment's recognition. Do you have any specific memories of her as an actress or philanthropist? Anybody?
I do. She was great on Community. She was on an episode of Community and even joined Troy and Abed in a post-show rap that I found very amusing. Does that count?
Okay, great. Yes, well, yeah. Nothing from Mary Tyler Moore show?
Nope.
Or,
oh, jeez. It's because it's been so
30
long.
years as a game show, whiz. She was so funny on those game shows.
Was she on the Match Game?
Yes.
Then I'll
and
say that.
Password and everything.
Was she in the movie Malignant? Because I saw that.
What?
Wow. Guys, I'm really shocked.
Sorry.
No. I mean, Mary Tyler Moore's show, it's been a long, long time since I've seen that. But no, she is definitely a beloved, I'm a beloved American. I don't want to categorize her and pigeonhole her into one thing. She was just, fabulous. And it is a tremendous loss. Her career spans decades and extreme talent and philanthropy and all of those things. So yes, we do need to pause and reflect on this loss. I mean, yes, exactly.
And it really is the end of an era. I mean, there are none of those old broads left anymore. And I don't mean just Golden Girls. I mean Mary Tyler Moore show. And, all of the 70s and 80s, older funny ladies are gone now. Or Carol Burnett's still with us, thank God.
Yes, but she is.
I'm a tremendous fan and Golden Girls nut. And what I think is so amazing about Betty White is that she played Sue Ann Nivens on the Mary Tyler Moore show, who was slutty and sarcastic and manipulative and wonderful. And then she played Rose on Golden Girls, who was innocent and completely childlike and naive. And then the end of her career, she did that show Hot in Cleveland, where she was much more herself. And she was just sassy and funny and grounded. And it was exciting. It was a mark of her talent that she could really embody these three women. And they were vastly, vastly different. And I think she was remarkable. And she owned a giant killer crocodile in Lake Placid. Says Brian Blake in the Discord chat. I had forgotten about that. That's my speed. She did. Yep.
No, that speaks to her, just her skills and her talent to be able to play a variety, and then even in genres to go from TV to movies, and then to do something in Lake Placid. And I remember her on that 70s show as well, of just being able to, just move in between genres and just be, I guess, herself to a certain extent. And it wasn't like, oh, she had to be this chameleon to be, she just, people knew what you got with her. And that's who she was. And it just always worked.
Yeah. She's really, and she was a pioneer in television in the 50s. They gave her own show. She's just truly remarkable.
Yes.
So a life well lived.
Thank you, Betty.
Yeah. Thank you for being our friend. So what have you guys been watching? I've been on a total Betty White retrospective watching reruns, but what have you guys been watching?
I can go first. I've been watching Yellowjackets. I got 2 months of Showtime for $2 a month. I don't remember where I got that. I think I'm stealing it. And I'm watching Yellowjackets, which is are you guys familiar with that show at all? Probably not, because it's on Showtime.
I've heard of it.
I know the concept, which does not appeal to me, so I haven't
Sure.
watched it.
It's a mix of Lost.
But the actors do.
And it's a mix of Lost and Lord of the Flies, where a girl's sports team crashes on some sort of mysterious island and things go poorly. I'm really enjoying it.
Isn't it soccer?
What's that?
Isn't it soccer?
Yeah, I'll go with that. That sounds right. Either soccer or lacrosse. Yeah. And Christina Ricci's in it. Melanie Linsky, the girl that was on The Leftovers. And Juliette Lewis is in it, and I think it's really well acted and fun. And there's a huge chance that by the time it ends, I'll be like, well, that didn't go anywhere. But I'm really enjoying it. And then the only other thing that I'm excited about is this week, I think on Friday, so yesterday, when this comes out, Search Party, the final season of Search Party, will be coming on HBO Max. Have you guys watched any of Search Party?
I've watched the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then everyone said, don't watch the 4th, it goes off the rails.
I still love it, but it does get very dark. So I'm not sure it'll be your cup of tea.
We are a season behind.
Correct. But I
loved the first 2.
Love it. And I think John Early is a national treasure. So I'm excited to wrap that up starting this week.
Great.
Okay, adding things to my list because I'm still catching up on so many things.
Golden Girls.
No, so sure, okay.
Jeez Louise.
No, I finally caught up. My wife and I finally caught up on White Lotus. Had a great,
so good, yeah.
Yes, great binging that. And then
the guy from Sopranos is going to be in the second season. Michael Imperioli. Yep.
Yes, I saw they just they announced that, and then we did a whole binged on our sci-fi on whatever Apple with Foundation and did that, and then I've just been trying to stay up with what are the movies that are getting lots of good buzz at the end of the year. So I've been looking at streaming services and catching up with things like Nicolas Cage and Pig, Power of the Dog over on Netflix, and then got out, did my birthday binge right around Thanksgiving, French Dispatch, and Come On, Come On.
Oh, how is Come On, Come On?
Come On, Come On. It is it's wonderful. It warms my heart. It was great. It seems like it's been forgotten in the mix of things, which makes me really, really sad because it is a different side of Joaquin Phoenix, which is nice to see, and it's Mike Mills. It's it's just this great film. And then Licorice Pizza, got out to see that.
How's that?
Shortly after Christmas. It's P.T. Anderson doing a little nostalgia of things, and it's not plot heavy. It's just like here's things that happen to these two people, but this is why I don't watch trailers. It's why I don't watch trailers because I'm waiting for these moments that were in the trailer and they're not in the movie. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh, no.
And I'm just like, dang it. That's why I shouldn't watch these trailers. But no, 2 great leads carrying that movie. And it's definitely, if you are expecting if you want a movie with plot that's going to, carry you with major conflict, this is not your type of movie. It's really about these 2 characters and their relationship and the ups and downs of that.
You can sort of tell it's going to be a ramble, like with the trailer, which I did see. That it's just sort of going to be, and then this, and then this was also happening in the 70s, and then some other things at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. But I like that.
Brian, you're exactly right. I did think a lot about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Very similar feel to that, where it's this, you're in this era. There's things going on.
And then it's a bloodbath.
Except there's no bloodbath in this one. No bloodbath in this one. So that's sort of my scramble through the end of the year. I still have a few other things I'm going to try to see if I can catch on streaming services and all that. There's a lot of stuff that are showing up on lists that's like not released yet and all that, which is the other thing that really frustrates me. These critics are like, this is the best movie of the year. It's not even in theaters. Not like, it's only playing at like one theater in LA. It's like, no, they're not even here in the States. You had to have been at, sorry, I couldn't make it to the Venice Film Festival to see that movie with you that you're raving about. But,
you gotta go, Steve. It's wonderful.
Yes, I know.
Called you Pete.
I know. Next time, you and me, Tom.
Great.
And Mandy, we'll Toronto, Venice, we'll do the tour. Yeah.
Get the gondola ready. I wanted to ask about, I myself have not seen it, but Don't Look Up is getting a lot of fire and a lot of love. And I wanted to ask you guys if you've seen it.
That's the other one. I forgot to put that on my list. Yes, I did. That was in theaters and then Netflix like Christmas Eve or something like that. Because I guess they thought when families get tired of talking to each other, let's watch a movie about the end of the world. Sure, why not?
Yes, I was warned by my very loving, wonderful best friend, Meg, not to see the movie because it would trigger all of my anxiety. So I'm not going to see it.
It's an anxious movie. And it's also,
my charm.
It's very based in satire of frustration. Like you're following characters who are the only people that are speaking the truth, and they're surrounded by the worst of humanity. And so that can be, you're sort of hitting your head against a wall the whole time. I still really liked it. And we saw it actually when a friend of the show, Darnell Dash Smith, was in town for his Turbocation. We actually saw it in the theater. It's funny and it's smug and it's overlong and it's a lot of, Adam McKay is not a subtle director in any way or about his stuff, so it's kind of just screaming the same idea at you. But I was really impressed by the amount of different things he had takes on, that it is satirical in different ways. And then for Leonardo DiCaprio's character really does undergo an interesting transition at one point. So I enjoyed it overall. I was glad to see it.
Oh, good.
I'm in the same place. Yeah, I'm in the same place with that. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that's really right up front, just hilarious. It's that whole, tragedy comedy, writing that fine line like, oh, this man falls and slips on a banana peel. That's funny. Oh, he's 85 years old. Oh, that's a horrible tragedy. That you can quickly switch from one to the other. And this film rides that line. And there's a lot, I think, that if you think about it, there's some things where I thought, okay, what's going on with this? We have a whole thing with Leonardo DiCaprio as the scientist that then becomes this media figure and has this relationship with Kate Blanchett, who's playing like entertainment news figure. And I thought, well, what's going on with this? And I thought, no, this is commentary on that whole lure of celebrity of here's this scientist, and it's like now all of a sudden, oh, I can be on TV and I'm in with these people, and he's cheating on his wife. It's like there's that lure of that of now you're in that bubble. And I thought, okay, it's maybe a little too subtle for some people. I don't know, or maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know, but it's a film that I think people should see and have a laugh, have a cry. The whole thing with all the memes and stuff that happen after they have their first, on air segment and then get told like, well, it bombed, so you're done in the news cycle. Forget it. Everybody cares more about this, singer getting engaged and all of that. But just the memes that came out, I was crying. I was laughing so hard at some of this, and it was what I needed to balance out some of the darkness that's also in there. Yeah.
Well, so you both liked it.
Yeah. And I'm glad it exists.
Great.
I'm glad it's out there because we need, while there is a lot of sugar in it, there's also a lot of rage in the movie. And unfortunately, we need some of that.
Someone I heard say, make a documentary, don't make this. And I was like, well, Leo has made documentaries.
Right.
Yes, he has.
And he's communicating to a different audience by making a satire.
Right.
So I applaud taking the same message and, trying to mask it in a different costume and send it out in a different way. More people will see this.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I've seen online some people being critical of it, saying, "Well, okay, you're bringing up these issues, but you don't provide an answer to that. Like, what should we do?" And I think back to like Dr. Strangelove, the whole Cold War, that satire, which was like, "This is ridiculous. We're going to blow up the world," and it didn't posit an answer. It just basically said, it's so ridiculous. How do you even start on this? But we've got to be aware of it, and then maybe we can, start thinking about it. It's not like a documentary of here's this problem and here's the actions we need to take. Donate here, call here. This is people. We are in a mess, and we've got to really, if we can't, we have to laugh at it because it's so ridiculous, but we have to start really thinking about why we're in this ridiculous situation, why we have a president who had a trophy on her desk. And I had to pause and see, Tommy, you may have missed this in the theater because there are a lot of quick cuts when they're in that Oval Office of pictures of the president with different people. And there's one that's this like award. And I paused it. It was a Webby Award for a short film from 2015 that she had starred in.
That's funny.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, I do want to, while this is a show mourning the loss of Betty White, I also want to mention Peter Bogdanovich died.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
And I myself I'm not like a huge fan. I've seen a couple of these movies, but Steve, if you want to talk about his legacy.
I don't know that there's a lot of people that are like huge fans of his work because he sort of had his moment in the 70s and then sort of, I don't know, almost became a caricature of himself near the end as the erudite, film scholar.
Genius.
Yes, exactly. But I think it's, you look at his filmography. I remember back in high school working in the video store, and it was The Last Picture Show finally came out on VHS because it was this film that was not available, and it was on. I'm getting into movies and I'm hearing all these things about this, amazing movie, and finally it shows up on, VHS. And I think like a year or two later, his sequel Texasville, whatever, came out. That was a tremendous flop. But I think still, Paper Moon, a film that has, and I think we still have the record here, if I read right, of Tatum O'Neal still being the youngest actress to win an Oscar at 10. So I think, somebody that definitely contributed at his peak and is an important figure. He was affiliated and associated with like Orson Welles and, a lot of bringing that auteur criticism out of like yes, that type of thing to the front of being that scholar and talking about these filmmakers and looking at their careers as something I think that he really is known for contributing to that type of conversation and looking at those films. Maybe not the strongest filmmaker across the board, but definitely an important figure in the history of film.
And not a nice husband and father. Now, you mentioned Texasville, which is a sequel that did not go over well.
Right.
And Rob suggested we talk about The Matrix Resurrection is the kind of film that will go down in cult history because it is so laughably bad. Now, I, of course, have not seen it. Have either of you seen it, and do you want to comment?
I saw it.
And I did not. It's not. Go ahead, Tommy.
You want me to go first? I was really happy. It is kind of a mess, but I love being back in that world. It gets a lot of things right. It gets a lot of things wrong, but it's not so. I didn't find it at all so laughably bad.
Wow.
It's really sort of a lot of fun. It misses huge things. I don't want to talk about it too much because there's a chance we're doing a film board on it that I am on this weekend. It's unclear if that is official or not, but I can say one thing. The action is really kind of poorly done. One of the big things that the first three Matrices did with these really sort of wide, long cuts. And Steve, I don't know, do you agree that this was filmed more like 90s action, like kind of close up and a lot of cuts? It was the action was so much lazier than in a world where John Wick now just he's doing his obvious own stunts, these huge long takes. You just can't really get away with that. So that was weird. I wonder if Lana's sister was the one that was more into the designing of some of the, action. But still, I really had a lot of fun. Oh, more like, I'm sorry, I said 90s, more like 2000 style. Brian helped clarify.
Yes.
What do we know why the sisters didn't make this together? Or is that something I just need to Google? And
I thought that the one that wasn't Lana just didn't really ever have any interest in it.
Oh, okay.
And the studio was
I don't
going.
know, there's a lot.
Yeah.
About it. I know that. I mean, I read a little bit, and again, there's always different stories around things because I heard, Warner Brothers was going to make this no matter what. So, whether the Wachowskis were involved or not, they were going to do it. I read another story of, I had because their father passed away, and so then it was had a dream about Neo and Trinity, and here's the story that I need to tell. So it was a more personal thing. I don't know what the real answer is. There's all kinds of there's a lot of ideas in there. It's not as strong as the first one. I think the action greatly contributes to that. This is really a shift in story to more about character and the relationship between Neo and Trinity.
And the love story is really satisfying for me.
Yes, exactly. And
in a way that I was not expecting. I don't remember caring about their love story that much, and it turns out I very much do. It was fun.
They built that into this. And Brian, the stunt team from the original trilogy, yes, that's what I was wondering. Like,
wasn't involved.
Who is the stunt choreographer? You could tell this was a lot, the way it was shot, the way it was choreographed, all that just wasn't on par with that. But to me, that wasn't the strength of the movie. And if those action sequences had been stronger, I don't know that it would have made me enjoy it that much more. It's middling. And I enjoyed it. I had a big smile on my face. I like the way it starts. Mm-hmm. The ending, I think, is satisfying. There's some ups and downs throughout the middle, and leave it at that, because this movie was never going to be able to live up to all the expectations. I mean, we learned that with the second and third one. You come out of the gate with something really strong and innovative, and then it's like the sophomore album, right? You're never going to live up to that freshness because there's expectations already.
Have you heard my sophomore album?
Nice.
No, I haven't.
It's called Sophomore, and it's awesome. Every track is a banger. Yeah,
it slaps. I agree.
It slaps. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Welcome.
I feel educated, and now I really don't have to see any of those movies. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Should we go and talk about our trailers?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, let's do that.
Steve.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah,
How
I did it.
dare you get in there before me?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
With a bullet.
Well, here's the thing. I sort of cheated because normally I wait till what's the trailer that just drops on Wednesday or something like that? What's the newest trailer? And typically that's because it's a movie that's going to be coming out, all of that. I cheated. I did a trailer that had dropped a while ago, but this is for a film that has a unique release schedule, and I wanted to have conversations about this movie because it's a potential that it will be coming to people soon. So even though the trailer's older, I wanted to talk about it. And this is a little film called Memoria.
Yes. Drilled into her head to release bad spirits.
Why am I bringing up this old trailer now? It's because it is now getting into theatrical release. Sort of. It has a unique release schedule, and I believe I may have brought this up on a Sat Mat back in the fall. This film is going to only play in one theater at a time around the world. So it had its first U.S. release. It played the IFC Center in New York City, Christmas through New Year's. And now it's going to go on a cross-country tour, basically playing 1 week at this theater in this town and then move to another theater. And so there will never be a streaming release. The only way to see it will be when it comes to a theater near you for that 1 week.
Good luck, Memoria.
This will be its perpetual release schedule. It's a film that's showing up on a lot of top films of the year lists, which is why I wanted to bring it up so that people are aware of it, because I don't know what the release schedule is. And wanted to let people know, keep an eye out for it now. It may be there in a couple weeks. It may be in a couple months, but put it on your list to keep an eye out on.
Can you tell us the director's name? I dare you.
Yeah.
I am not even going to try to pronounce
It's all the letters.
No, I'm not. I am not going to do this. No, but what did you guys think of the trailer? Tilda Swinton.
It's certainly not one of those trailers that you're like, well, I know the whole movie. I know nothing. I feel like I know less about the movie. And this will be a weird one to play during this podcast because there's like no talking. It's just a bunch of noises.
There's no dialogue.
It actually reminded me a little bit of a film like I always get it wrong. Kayana Scotzi.
Oh, Kayana Scotzi. Yes.
The trilogy.
The trilogy. Yeah,
Kayana Scotzi, thank you.
Exactly.
It's not COVID. Kayana Scotzi, which is a wordless, plotless film, but all based around images and sound, sort of getting across
Shoot me now.
Not for you?
Not for me.
I'm wondering how much of that is because the whole trailer ends with just sort of a long shot looking out windows while I think someone maybe listens to a radio. Either way, the sound, I'm fascinated by sound, and so I'm interested in it.
Yes, it's all about sound because the plot summary is a woman from Scotland while traveling in Colombia begins to notice strange sounds. Soon she begins to think about their appearance. That's all I know.
Okay.
Yes, she's hearing something, trying to identify what the source of this mysterious sound is.
I read a blurb that said maybe she develops like psychic power or supernatural power or something.
Oh.
But the trailer was, I thought, very intriguing.
Yes.
And it made me feel like there's going to be a jump scare. There's going to be a jump scare. And then there wasn't. But I liked that. I liked feeling on edge.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would never see this movie. Like, I don't want 2 hours of like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And then nothing does. So I will not see it. But I actually thought it was a well-done trailer.
This entire episode is just a list of things you will never see.
That's right. That's
well, no, your trailer's coming up. My bad.
We're gonna rename this episode. We're gonna we can just rebrand SatMat. Things that Mandy won't watch. We can do that. Yes.
That could be our
Sure can.
the thing for the next list challenge. The least Mandiest film possible.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I love it. I love it.
If you could pick the movie that is
my
the
God. There
most
are so
least
many
thing
movies.
that you would ever see.
Yes. And there are so many movies that are like, standard issue. Everybody's seen them.
Right.
You just you're not a human being unless you've seen Jurassic Park. Well, I never have.
Right. Weird.
Hey, stop giving them ideas. Stop giving them ideas.
Okay. So speaking of movies that I won't see, we have my trailer.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I saw. I did go see West Side Story, which I loved, and there was a trailer for this movie, and I wanted to like it. I wanted to be moved to go see it, but I am not. And then I found this. It's a different version of the trailer, which inched me more towards seeing it, but has not yet. This is a musical adaptation of the classic Cyrano, starring Peter Dinklage and Haley Bennett, directed by Joe Wright.
My sole purpose on this earth is to love Roxanne.
Does she know?
The world will never accept someone like me and a tall, beautiful woman.
We have no money. A clever marriage is your only option.
I won't be rescued. I'm not in distress. Love, does that mean nothing to you?
Children need love. Adults need money.
I need something to die for, write poems and cry for, and I won't be ashamed. I'd give anything for someone to say that they can't live without me and they'll be there forever. I have a confession to make. I am madly in love,
Perhaps he feels the same.
but I've never actually spoken to him.
Of your love?
I think. He is Christian Nouvelet. He's a new recruit in your regiment.
Of course he is. A woman like Roxanne wants wit, romance, poetry. I don't know how to speak romantically. I am a poet. My words upon your lips. I will make you romantic. Will you make me handsome? She loves me! I give anything for someone to say all the words I don't have and I put together.
Speak to me like you do in your letters.
You are a beautiful flower.
I am not a flour. I need more.
Wait, I'm fascinated. Why isn't this all up in your business? I thought this would be 100% a movie you'd like to see.
Well, I do have one complaint right away. Peter Dinklage is madly in love with a child in this movie. Haley Bennett, I think she's probably in her early 30s, but she looks 14.
Yes,
and it's a very disturbing match. It's really like, wait, he's in love with his great niece? Like, it's a crazy age difference, and I find that just blood-curdling. And then it doesn't have any energy. This whole movie's like, I can't. Yes, you can. Okay. Like, there's no energy to this trailer. There's nothing that you're like, ooh, yeah, like, look at that dance number. Or, oh, listen to that song. There's nothing. The song that they have her sing while gazing wanly out a window is so boring. So the fact that it's a musical doesn't lure me.
Okay.
And then just on a personal note, it makes me nervous that Peter Dinklage's wife wrote this. But
it's based on their show. It was an off-Broadway show that then went to Broadway. It has legs. Like, it's been around for a long time, where he played the lead in it. Because that's a friend of the show, Johnny G.D. Giacaloni's friend, Erica. Yeah.
I love the idea of Peter Dinklage as Cyrano.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just a wonderful casting idea. But this movie doesn't get me excited.
Fair enough.
And it's not... the release is, for those who are like excited by it and they want to see it, there's no actual release date, it looks like, because it was supposed to come out and then it came out for a minute and then now Omicron is pushing it and it's very murky.
They even had to cancel the premieres. The New York and Los Angeles premiere were both canceled because of COVID.
I feel really bad when films fall prey to that. So
yeah. Oh.
But what did you guys think?
I'm excited because I love Peter Dinklage in that role, and I think it's been a while. I didn't see Bridgerton, so it's been a while since I've been in a period piece. And every once in a while I like to go back to those. So I'm interested, and it also made me want to rewatch Roxanne. I wonder if that holds up.
I love Roxanne.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I want to watch Roxanne. This movie feels like it's from the early 90s for some reason. Like, this was a movie that would have been made then. Like, this type of period, maybe not as a musical, but I feel like, oh, here's a film. Let's take a piece of literature. We'll make a movie out of it. A bunch of, like, theater teachers will assign it to their kids to go see it in theaters, and they'll go see it, and then they'll talk about adapting a play or whatever into a film and all of that. But there's nothing that's a big draw for me in this. I'm like, I feel like, I would watch that as an assignment and I would go, oh yeah, that's okay. But I don't, there's no, even when you're right, Mandy, when the songs break out, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. It's a musical. But it didn't have that energy of like, this is going to be a huge spectacle. I can't wait to see it. It's
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just wait for streaming and watch it while Saturday afternoon as I'm folding laundry is what'll happen with this one.
Planning ahead.
Especially following up, with our releases of In the Heights and Hamilton and West Side Story. Those are just powerful, lush musicals. They're not, I had my issues with In the Heights, but those numbers just, I couldn't wait to see them, and then I saw them and I couldn't wait to rewind them and watch them again. And we knew that from the trailer. And from this trailer, it doesn't have any of that appeal. So.
Interesting.
Yep.
Good luck.
Johnny.
Hey.
Good luck, Cyrano.
Good luck, Cyrano. Good luck, Memoria. And good luck to Veronica Mars, because she stars in this movie. No, it's not a movie. It's a series on Netflix. We went through a whole reign of films where the women would drink too much or have a case of the pillsies or a case of the outside scaredies. And this is
unreliable narrators.
Unreliable white female narrators that love looking out windows, whether they be trains or houses. This is a satirical series of that called The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
Hi, I'm Anna. The truth is that I drink a lot, and sometimes I mix it with pills. And I'm here because I woke up this morning convinced I'd witnessed a murder.
Someone has
murder. I saw.
They said you saw a murder.
She is batshit crazy. I'm not crazy. Someone's gotta believe me. And she has a serious drinking problem. No. Okay. You get that knife out of my face! Can you stop telling people that I have a drinking problem? You know, I used to feel bad for you, but I do not feel bad for you anymore, and I will not pray for you anymore. Carol. Well, if they won't be the detectives, then I will. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
You a reporter?
Yes.
Then why aren't you recording this?
A woman.
I don't know why I held my breath. I don't know about this. The trailer isn't necessarily that funny, and I'm wondering if all the murders or only murders in the building has stolen some of this's kind of make fun about true crime or crime series. I'm not exactly sure. I really wished I thought the trailer was funnier, but I do love the amount of drinking that she does because that is really such a big part of these. And I think there's room for it. I like the idea of making fun of these kind of things. And I hope that they really have written a mystery within a mystery. Does this hold any interest for you guys?
I feel like this was written and made for me.
Okay, I found it. I finally found
Audience
it.
of one. Everything about this appeals to me except the trailer.
Right.
Like I saw a shorter form trailer that was much funnier. And it was much more of her dropping casseroles, and then they mention like this woman sees things and drops a lot of casseroles. And like it
leaned into
had
it.
a funnier edge. Even though after that 1 minute trailer teaser, I guess, I was a little confused. Like, is it satirical or is it a mystery? I'm glad to know it's both.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to see it. But I just don't think this trailer highlights the humor enough. I agree with you.
The makers of it have come out saying that they're not just like, it's not just spoofing that genre, that they do have love for it. And so I feel like maybe that's why there is a little bit of tightrope walking in this trailer. Yeah. But hopefully they really do, to use my own phrase again, lean into it, because it is absurd. And it can get into Karendom, and I know that that's an overdone topic, but it can get into, if it wants to, it can get into a lot of things. And I really hope that they do write a good mystery, which will be fun.
Yes, I was so thankful this wasn't like the, whatever scary movie, not another teenage movie type of ridiculous spoof that just goes for easy, just obvious jokes. That it's got a smarter edge to it, but it's playing off of those tropes. But yeah, I sense, because I was surprised. I thought, oh no, this is taking it straight. It's not playing it for the laughs. There's some ridiculous in here, but it's just leaning into that in a way. And Tommy, I think you're right. Only Murders in the Building. It has that type of,
being aware of a genre. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I'm intrigued to see where this goes, to see, and again, this is a limited series or something on Netflix?
Yeah.
So, okay. We'll see. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this plays out.
When does it come out?
1/28. The 1 stands for January. January 28th on Netflix. and I'm overjoyed to have found something that Mandy's finally going to watch.
I know, but I'm going to run, not walk.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that. I saw that teaser a few weeks ago, and I've been waiting for it. So, and I love Kristen Bell.
Yeah, me too.
I just think she's appealing and funny and really talented, and a perfect choice for something like this.
Yes.
Hooray!
Oh, look at that. And this brings us to my favorite part of any evening, any matinee.
Oh, boy.
Games. Guys, I designed this game before I realized neither one of you is familiar with the Golden Girls.
Uh-oh.
So this is just going to be an exercise. It is a team game. You guys are playing together. And the name of this game is Betty, B, or Me. I have quotes.
Like coffee, tea, or me?
Some of them were said by Betty White.
Okay.
Some of them were said by B. Arthur.
Okay.
Some of them were said by me.
In what context?
Kaplan.
Just in your life or on this show?
I just wrote it for the game.
Got it.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's just original. Okay.
Just stuff I've come up with. Now, here's the thing. This is not characters. This is not Betty on Golden Girls. It's Betty in interviews, Betty in speeches, on the fly. So these are not like character things. These are the actual women.
Okay.
They're B. Arthur, not Dorothy or Maud.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay.
Yes. And we're both playing together.
You
Yes,
are going to get to discuss. You are each other's phone a friend. And then you can decide together if it's Betty, B, or me. Really, I just like the title. We don't have to play the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I will start with, I'm a health nut. My favorite food is hot dogs with French fries. And my exercise, I have a 2-story house and a very bad memory, so I'm up and down those stairs.
I have a vote.
Okay.
How should we do this, Steve?
Okay. No, I think we should talk through this because what are you thinking? Because I know I'm thinking Betty White because I just read an article about her at some after awards ceremony party downing a hot dog and vodka or something.
Oh.
So I think hot dog. I think Betty White, but that's a bit of a stretch unless you've got something else.
I was going to say Mandy.
Oh,
Mandy lives in a 2-story house, but she doesn't have a bad memory.
no, she doesn't.
All right, I'll go with you. I'll go with Betty. Betty.
Final answer?
Yes.
Final answer is Betty.
Yeah!
Hooray!
Woo!
Right out of the gate.
Outstanding.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for another
Yep.
one? I'm an old gay man trapped in a middle-aged lady's body.
Okay. Mandy. I'm going to say Mandy 100%.
You're going to say Mandy? You don't think that's a B. Arthur type of thing?
I don't know. Mandy is so
She's
gay. Man, like all of the stuff, all of the things, the show tunes, the everything. I'm going to vote for Mandy, but I want to hear your reasoning because I honestly don't feel like I know anything about B. Arthur. I think until just now, I thought B. Arthur was Aunt B on the Andy Griffith Show. So I am out of my depth.
So wait, you don't know Maud at all and all of that stuff with her well, because what was it? It was the mid to late 70s, and the controversy was her character. She was a woman in her 40s having an abortion in an episode, and it was like scandal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Tommy, you got to get up to date on your things.
Up to date on Maud?
Up to date.
Yes, exactly.
Up to date, Steve.
Up to date.
I'm going to need your final answer. You're out of time.
Okay.
I'll say I'll go with you. Know your Mandy really well. I'd say we'll go with Mandy.
Mandy.
Of course.
Hooray!
Of course it's me.
Okay.
Right, I had to say middle-aged because that's accurate.
Right.
But I consider myself a young adult. Okay. Let's say if I didn't have an audience, I couldn't function.
That sounds like BA to me.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
You guys are 3 for 3.
3 for 3. Oh.
Yes.
All right. Let's call it done. We're good. All right.
Just a few more.
Okay. We're good.
They say blondes have more fun. I say shut up and pass the vodka.
Oh.
I'll see. There's Betty and her vodka again.
Sure. But she was blonde, wasn't she? Wait, but Mandy's blonde. Is B. Arthur blonde? I don't know who B. Arthur is. B. Arthur's gray. I'm going to leave this in your capable hands, Stephen.
I'm going to say Betty White on this one.
I love it.
That was me.
No. All right.
But Betty and I are both blondes, and Betty and I both drink vodka.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. My mother always used to say, the older you get, the better you get, unless you're a banana.
Oh, I don't care for that. Wait, I'm going to say...
You don't care for old bananas?
I don't know.
The older you get...
What was the last one? The last one was Mandy? That sounds like something Mandy's mother would actually say.
But that's not an option on our list, Tommy. It's not Betty B and Mandy's mom.
That's a good point.
Unless you think unless you're saying Mandy's turning into her mother.
Well, she said,
no,
she said
is,
my mother
always used to say.
Oh, my mother said. Oh, okay.
I'm not just going rogue.
Come on, Tommy. You usually do. So
That's a good point.
I'm not a good listener today. Your mother always said, yeah.
But I have trouble thinking that Mandy would put herself twice in a row.
Twice in a row.
So I'm going to think it's Betty.
Yes, I support that.
And we're just sort of doing like SAT, like trying to figure out the test
just
makers.
Random. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Oh, it's serving you well. That was Betty.
Hooray!
All right.
God, we're brilliant.
Yeah. In my head, I'm the ultimate cougar, animal lover that I am.
That's Betty White, right? It wasn't she, isn't, you guys kept talking about her philanthropy. Wasn't she a big animal person?
Yes, she was. Yes. Good call, Tommy.
All right, I hope. But that's 2 Bettys in a row. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
All right.
She's trying to shake it up on us. That's all. Yeah.
We will go with Betty.
You are correct.
What can't we do?
You guys are I know, it's very good.
It's very good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
That's that word. That's that wordsmith we know and love.
I don't care for cheesecake.
Oh. Wait, does Mandy like cheesecake?
Have you seen Mandy eat cheesecake, Tommy? Come on.
I know she likes cheese.
Did you provide cheesecake at craft services there?
I remember that Mandy, I know that Mandy loves cheese, but I think ironically or famously she hates cheesecake. This is a tough hill to die on, but we're gonna die that sounds very familiar to me. So that's my vote. Steve, what say you?
Well, I don't know Mandy's eating habits, so I'm going to ride along with you on this one.
We say Mandy.
I hate cheesecake.
Hooray!
But this was B. Arthur.
Oh no! Oh. Well, can it be both?
Because they ate cheesecake on the Golden Girls. That was their thing. They ate cheesecake.
Oh,
and somebody asked her about it, and she was like, "I don't care for cheesecake."
Oh.
But we get sort of little points for the fact that it also goes for you.
I love that you know that about me. That makes me, you make me feel like a natural woman. Okay, last one. I never understood why people think women aren't funny. I can make my butt cheeks talk with the best of them.
I only have one thing to say, Steve, and then because I blew the last one, I'd like to leave it in your hands. Yeah. I kind of feel like she would end with a Betty. Don't you think? Because of all she said is the word Betty White over and over again.
I agree with that. But I'm just going to ask, have you ever seen Mandy make her butt cheeks talk?
All the time. All the time. How do you think she drinks martinis? Doesn't make any sense. I don't think that if she would end, she doesn't seem like the kind of person that would end on herself.
That's true. Let's go, Betty.
I'm going to go with Betty.
It was me.
I was.
the kind of person who would end on myself.
All right. Well, I know you and I don't know you.
There's a chance my family watched Ace Ventura on New Year's Eve.
Oh, I knew that.
When
Queso told me that. Oh, that could have been a good context clue. All right. Good.
All right,
game.
Guys. You did very, very well.
Thank you.
We did adequately.
You did well. And it was just a test of Tommy's friendship, and he passed with flying colors. I'm like, I love that he's like, no, I think she doesn't like cheesecake, famously.
Okay, good.
Thank you. All right. Before we get to our lists, I need to do a little bit of housekeeping. Let me tell everybody that if you're not yet a member, but you would like to become one, just head over to thenextreel.com/membership. The most it'll cost you is $5 per month. Members get access to live streams as we record. Hi, Brian. Early access to shows in your very own personal podcast feed, access to the super secret member channels in Discord, member bonus episodes, and even stickers. Who doesn't like stickers? And if you're wondering what movies The Next Reel is going to be talking about in the coming weeks and months, you can visit our HQ page on Letterboxd. And there you're going to find a list of all the movies in the 2021-2022 season. And while you're there, Letterboxd is offering a discount to anyone listening to The Next Reel. Just use the code NEXTREEL at checkout, and you can upgrade your Letterboxd account to Pro or Patron with a 20% off discount. This discount also works for renewals. It's amazing that I have that memorized because you know when you get those little floaters on your eyes and you can't see?
No, you had one of those?
I'm having those floaters, And I was like, oh, God, I hope I can keep reading this. So, but I wasn't reading.
Yeah.
That's all off the cuff stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I am not privy to why this was the topic from last week. Performances that renewed a career. No John Travolta's. That was very specific. Yep. Can somebody enlighten me, or are we just going to launch into our list?
Just launch it.
I
listened, but I don't remember where that came up from, because it probably came up spontaneously, just like our proposed topic of the least Mandiest films. So.
Right.
So specific.
Well, it'll be interesting. So, Steve.
Oh, that's
what
right.
is your first comeback film?
Okay, so my list is sort of a bit of a mess because I misinterpreted this at first, because I was looking at it in terms of my first pick I'm going to go with, I think this was sort of a career renewer for this person, and actually it was a sequence of 2 movies that sort of set the stage of no, this person's on a comeback, this is a resurgence here, and never quite went beyond those 2, sort of maybe was able to get more work and get a decent paycheck after starring in Striptease and Boogie Nights for Burt Reynolds. It was sort of the 96, 97,
right.
Burt Reynolds part 2, but I can't think of anything beyond that was oh my gosh, he was so good in that. It was those 2, he rode that wave, and then it faded out again.
He famously hated Boogie Nights.
Right. Of course he did.
He seems like the least pleasant man in the entire world, but that's a great pick.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yeah. I think that's right on the money for this topic.
Yep.
Yes. And the rest of them will be a train wreck, but we'll see how it goes.
Perfect.
Mine, of course, is Betty White.
Okay.
So she had really not been working much. She was doing guest stars on Community and things like that. And then she did a movie called The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan
I saw
Reynolds.
that. That was pleasant.
Was she in that?
She's adorable in it.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is really adorable in it, but also was very savvy about she did a lot of interviews where she famously was I don't know the big deal about Ryan Reynolds. He's a real ass. Oh, I'm sorry, not supposed to swear. He's a real jerk. And they had a fake feud going on.
Oh, that's fun.
And even a couple of days before she died, she made some joke in an interview about he wants me, but what can I say? I'm saving myself for Robert Redford. And he responded on Twitter, and then she died a couple days later. So, But The Proposal really, and then people saw that movie, remembered what a gem she is, and campaigned to get her on Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
and then that
right.
launched her back onto Hot in Cleveland and really made her this very relevant actor again.
Yes.
Wow.
Definitely.
Did I win the list?
You did great.
That sounds
Thank
great.
you.
Yes.
Mine is, I'm not exactly sure which one I should do. So kind of Stephen, I'm going to do both because they both happen relatively, and I know that one came from the other. But it is hard to remember that he was not a beloved Hollywood actor, that he was people were so scared of him he couldn't get bonded for so long, but then he got sober, and after making Kiss Kiss Bang Bang for Shane Black, Robert Downey Jr. then got the lifetime role of Iron Man.
Yes.
And I think Kiss Kiss, I would pick Kiss Kiss Bang Bang because I liked it more than Iron Man, and I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but that was just a real rebound for him, and now he's bonded for life.
I like hearing you say Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Thank you. Do you know who originally said Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
I forget.
The movie reviewer, the late, great Pauline Kael. How do you pronounce that, Stephen?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got it correct.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. Okay, I did it.
Wow.
Steve!
Okay. Woo! What do I got? I got something to pick from. Okay, so when I was looking at this career renewal, I was there's some actors that just have never found their niche of this is who they are. They may jump around in lots of things. So this next one, I feel this person's career really became defined after these films and just sort of set their career on a specific trajectory where for lack of a better term, now they've become solely identified with these types of films, but before this was sort of like just all over. Still talented, so I don't want to say it like renewed their career, but it was definitely set things in a different
I have a guess.
Trajectory when you are on the phone and you say, I have a very specific set of skills.
Yeah.
I think Liam Neeson's career is in a very different place from, you look at what he was doing in like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, very, I think, well-respected, talented actor, but now he's like, I'm this action grump guy who just, goes and beats the tar out of people, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's, given his career a boost in that direction. So that's my second pick.
So what is like Taken?
Taken.
What?
It's looking at his filmography. There's this. I think it was Taken 2 that really did it. But yeah, it's the Taken franchise. I think that really the first one was there. Then it was like 3 or 4 years before the second one, and then it seems like that's when he really started getting those types of roles of like, oh, you're going to be the lone gunman against the bad guys.
Or punching wolves in the face.
Or punching wolves in the face.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't remember what that... Oh, thank you. That was called The Gray, says
The Gray,
Discord.
yes.
Thank you, Brian.
God, he's fast.
Yeah, he's really fast. Mando.
Oh, God. Not that I wasn't listening to everything Steve was saying about Liam Neeson, but I was trying to figure out who it was, and I had this new answer wash over me.
Okay.
And then I realized... This person was also on Golden Girls, but he was a legitimate, serious young male actor in the 50s, and he made like romantic comedies. And then he became a dapper older gentleman who made the line, "And don't call me Shirley," very, very famous. I am, of course, talking about Leslie Nielsen in Airplane.
Oh, how great. That's right. He was in like sci-fi movies and stuff.
Yes.
That's right.
And Tammy and the Bachelor. Like he was
Of course, Tammy and the Bachelor. That was right on the tip of my tongue.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing we're friends.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Cheesecake. I'm your cheesecake. That's a great pick. I love that. For mine, let's see. Which one do I want to pick? Let's see. Steve, pick either 1 or 2.
12?
Nope, you have to pick 1
one
or
and
2.
2?
Yeah.
Let's go with 1.
1. This guy, I think everyone likes him, and it's so glad that he's back, but he really was gone for a long time until he made a sort of joke about playing his biggest role while starring in a movie that hated cuts and loved jazz drums. This would be Michael Keaton in Birdman or The Virtue of Ignorance.
Oh.
How do we feel about this one? Because he never really disappeared, but he also kind of really disappeared.
He did. I think he did, and I think it's great.
Oh, good.
No,
Thank you.
Yes, that's that. Yeah, he's
and now he's like
one that I was.
Then he did like The Founder. Now he's on Dope Sick. Like he's really
yes.
Well, he was doing some small, funny roles, but
right.
This
the other guys and
his
stuff.
Legitimate career.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, God, I love him in The Other Guys.
Yeah, he's great.
Like his phase. It's like his phase 3 because it was like he was the goofy comedian and then he did serious stuff, but it was never quite got there. But now it seems like he's on this like third wave of really solid performances. So no, that's a great pick.
Oh, good.
Great pick.
We approve.
Thank you.
All right, Steve.
Okay.
I'll pick 2. Does that mean anything?
No, I don't think so. No, because I've only got 1 left. Well, I have a backup, but it's a bit of a stretch. So it's hard to say there was a lull in this, actor's career. And see, this is the thing. I was trying to find women too, and I feel.
Oh, right, women.
Yeah, I know. There's a bit of a lull in this actor's filmography, and then. There was a transition again and this is similar to Michael Keaton, somebody that was known very much for comedy, had a couple films not so big, and then transitioned into being serious, which was starting to get there, and then really took off after getting recognition for this huge award-winning film. Talking about the late 90s, early 90s, late 90s, when you look at what happened with Tom Hanks, of going from,
sure.
you know, trying to do serious things like Punchline, and then you get like The Burbs and Bonfire of the Vanities, but then Philadelphia just really launched a whole new wave for Tom Hanks. And, you know, after that you get, the next year you get Forrest Gump. And I think those two things just set a whole renewed, you know, career for Tom Hanks. And things would never be the same after that for him.
Or for the world.
Yes.
I like that.
That's a good pick. I like that. Was he renewed though?
No,
but it was such a course correction that it really renewed him to superstardom.
Yes, that's a good point. I would say, because I think he was solid. You know, you look at things before that, and it's like, yeah, Big was, you know, yeah, I got a lot of recognition. Before that, you've got like Dragnet, The Money Pit, Volunteers, The Man with One Red Shoe. He's just, you know, you got Splash and Bachelor. He's floundering around in this comedy with nothing that really, you know, to the point of then I'm going to take on this serious role and win an Oscar for it in Philadelphia. Is I think, yeah, he. Yes, I know, Brian. He didn't fade. It was a slow little, you know, couple rough spot for a couple years. Yes, I know. I love Joe versus the Volcano, but it's not one that a lot of people, you know, saw and celebrate.
Steve, join our Patreon.
Count to 10.
And try to drive Steven insane over Discord. For just $5 a month, you can see the vein pulse in his forehead.
Yes.
Mando.
I fell into a real theme for all of mine, and it makes me so happy. Betty White,
Jesus.
Leslie Nielsen, and this last person was also on Golden Girls for one episode, but she was a megastar in 50s MGM musicals, like Singin' in the Rain, and she was the star of Tammy and the Bachelor, and her name is Debbie Reynolds.
Oh,
and then she really didn't make a movie for many, many years. And then Albert Brooks put her in Mother, in which she is absolutely hilarious and heartbreaking. And I love that movie. And then she was in demand again. Then she was playing Grace's mom on Will and Grace, and her career had this whole late in life revival from Mother. And they were all on Golden Girls. I am amazing.
You are
You are.
You should put yourself last in a game. Oh, you did. Good work. My last one was the one that I was actually thinking would be stolen by someone. I really wanted to roll the dice and put it last, but it's because his name happens to also work with the word Renaissance. He was doing a lot of bad movies where he's leaning up against a woman and he's like, he can't figure out his life. And she's like, I'll figure you out and stuff. And everything was going very poorly. And then I'm not sure what to pick. Maybe Mud, maybe Killer Joe, a movie I desperately love, but certainly by Buyers Dallas Club. Dallas Buyers Club? We'll never know. Yeah. The Reconnaissance. Matthew McConaughey, famous for saying, all right, okay, oh, sure. He started an entire resurgence. And so I don't exactly know which one to pick, but now, you know, he's like super, even with Serenities under his belt, because that wasn't good. He's, you know, had an enormous resurgence. So can I just sort of
pick one?
Okay.
Mud, Killer Joe.
I'm going to say, I'll say Dallas Buyers Club, Buyer Dallas Club, because he was nominated for that.
He won.
He did? Amazing.
Brian is saying something.
Yes.
Brian's saying it started with Magic Mike.
He did not. Well, okay,
that's
sure, Magic Mike.
He said it started with Magic Mike. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he says.
I don't know.
Steve, did you have any backups? We had no steals.
No, like I said, I had thought about Michael Keaton, but, you know, that was it. And then the only other thing I had was possibly, and again, it's hard to say that it was like a renewal, but I feel like Point Break put Keanu Reeves on a trajectory that was different from things before that, but that's a bit of a stretch.
I had him as a backup, but I had it for Speed. Because
Okay, 'cause
Speed
it was like, right. Yeah.
Yes, and I know it was right after Point Break, but that seemed more of like a serious action and put Sandra Bullock also on there.
True, exactly. Yep.
I also had Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool because even though he's so beloved after Green Lantern, like he was rough. And then I had Mickey Rourke in playing Marv in Sin City.
Oh.
Because under heavy prosthetics.
I would have thought the wrestler. No.
Yeah, but I think I think Sin City got him the wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Because he was just gone, and then he played Marv, who's like this wrecking house. He can get beaten up, and he never quits. I think that's why Aronofsky was like, hey, let's film this, but for serious.
Yeah.
In The Wrestler.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I had a theme that I was going with before Leslie Nielsen inspired me. My original theme was funny old broads because I had Betty White, Debbie Reynolds, and then Jane Fonda had not made a movie in years when they made Monster-in-Law with Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then everyone was like, Jane Fonda, she's still acting? And then she now is, busier than ever. So,
did they like it when you called them funny old broads?
God, I hope so, because I'm going to suggest we choose funny old broads for next week's list.
Oh.
I think that's a great idea.
That might be a little less insular than movies that Mandy will never watch. That might be a little navel-gazing. So, yeah, funny old broads, I'm fine with that.
No, that works, and it comes off the Betty White, topic.
Right.
No, that's great.
The other idea I had would be like, and this might have been done in the past, like, comedic funny actors, what was the Philadelphia for them, or the Truman Show for them that made them
turn serious?
All of a sudden the world took notice of them as serious actors. Actually, so that would be another possibility.
Well, Andy sort of had that as the question of the day today, which I just caught before we were. He said some actors are largely known for one genre, but once in a while pop into other genres or have made a career shift to a completely different genre successfully. So I just saw that before we started recording because I was like, oh yeah, that's sort of the whole Tom Hanks thing I had going on there. So there's already a bunch of oh look, Leslie Nielsen, Tom Hanks, Sandra Bullock, Will Ferrell. Yep. So
funny old broads or genre or major successful genre hopping.
I say funny old broads. And then
because if it's the topic of the day, it's already being discussed.
Okay.
It's not genre hopping.
And
I say funny bold rods.
Funny bold rods? Okay.
Yep. Sterling.
All right.
Okay, good. Funny old broads it is.
All right. So we did it. We accomplished all of our goals. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about going on in the true story world?
Steven?
JJ and I are on hiatus planning the next season of Trailer Rewind, so we're reconfiguring the show a little bit, little format shift, and then building out our sort of little series of films. So we're going to tackle, like 2 or 3 films around a certain topic and, take it that way. So we're in the process of discussing all of that. So hopefully later this spring, we'll get the next season of Trailer Rewind will start showing up in everybody's feeds.
I would like to come join you on some of those like I do.
We always love having anybody come and join us. So Tommy, you are all open door. You just barge on in.
As long as you're not doing Memoria, I'm there.
Okay. All right.
I have nothing to plug. Goodbye.
All right. Well, the Man Cave tried to keep up with the holiday schedule, but there was some COVID and there were some technical difficulties, but we should be back with a new episode that we will record this coming week, so it should drop the week after that. We didn't officially take time off. There were just some things that got in our way.
Yep.
And that's all I got. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. And Tommy and Steve, please go watch The Golden Girls.
On it. First, I'm going to watch
Brian,
Bachelor Tammy and whatever movie you're making up.
Brian, thank you for fact-checking us and keeping us honest. And until next time, thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Hondo.
Yeah. Oh, no. Hooray! Great work, Mandy.
Awesome.